Chrissy, man of the match in the county final at an hour title after a 2-year absence. Your thoughts on what happened here today?
I just relief, Mal, to get the title back. This group probably faced a lot of questions the last 2 years. 1 and 4 in a row was very quickly forgotten about. 1 and 3 Ulster football titles was very quickly forgotten about too. We were still doing reasonably well in the hurling too. So the standards in this group and the expectations for this group of players in the club is through the roof, And but we didn't make any excuses. We weren't good enough the last 2 years. We weren't even in the final the last 2 years. But this year we've beaten Glen in the quarter final, who were in last year's final, and beat Magherafelt, who were deservedly the reigning champions. So we've done it the hard way, we've done it the right way, and we've done it the way that I don't think anybody can question that we thoroughly deserve the title this year.
You were too young to play in the club's first title winning team, but for 10 years it was 1 point defeats. Past 2 years was much similar. Hard luck stories, disappointments. Did you talk about it much?
We didn't.
Or did you try to just park it?
We didn't, but it's always in my mind every time we're fortunate enough to get to the county football final that I lost my 2 first ones, 2008, 2012, and don't want to experience that feeling again, This is my 5th county title. It's Patsy and Frank twins. It's their 7th. They've played in 9 finals, have they? Something like it. No, they've played in 2 more than me, so they won 04, so that's their 8th final. And it's their 6th Derry title, so them boys have been around a long time too. But I suppose we would talk about it, the older hands in the team, that once you've experienced a couple of county final defeats, you know how devastating it can be, and you're very conscious. I am. I know every time you get a chance to play in a final that you do everything in your power to try and come out the right side of it.
You didn't win much growing up. How does that sort of mould you as a senior player?
It gives you a bite, that's for sure. Probably wasn't that far away at underage in football. I suppose hurling, you were probably a couple of titles, but the football definitely eluded my group. I know we were beat by Korea a lot of the time. But look, it doesn't really matter. Underage is a bit moulding senior players, and we have a group in this club at the minute, Mal, that are very, very special. They're not special because of the achievements they've got. They're special because of their mentality and because of the people that they are. And it's not easy for them. They receive a lot of pressure and they receive a lot of expectation and scrutiny, but they stand up, and there's never a day I go out, win, lose or draw, that would ever question their character or care for Slaughtneil, and that's a very special thing to say.
Today's game was very different. I think Magherafelt kept the ball for 2.5 minutes before their first chance. You kept the ball for 4 minutes before the first score. A difficult game to prepare for, possession-wise.
Very difficult. I know people will say that Magheraftelt's style of play maybe isn't a cup of tea, but when you understand the level of coaching and the level of organisation that it took them to actually stifle us in the first half, I can certainly appreciate it, because it may not be easy on the eye to watch, but in terms of a coaching perspective, it takes a lot of detail and takes a serious amount of athleticism to play that brand of football Magherafelt play. And when they came out in the second half and pressed us, it was hard work, it was hard hitting, and it was ferocious. And Magherafelt can play both ways, and their goal they got took them totally back into the game, caught us unawares, but it was devastating, totally devastating, and put us under real pressure, from being in a really comfortable position. And then, we were searching for that insurance point at the end, and thank God it was Paul Bradleyp that had the composure to tap it over.
Final couple of points, even in today's game, Conor McCallister won a mark out at the sideline, sunk it over. The game has changed. The mark's different in the fact that other people have to sort of become kickers.
I think it's a wee bit different to playing a county final or playing championship on a ground like Blahy. As good as the facilities are and as good as the surface is with the weather, it is tight, and that does make a big difference, because it's an easier pitch. It's an easier pitch to play if probably defensive football on. That's taking nothing away from Magherafelt, but it is a more difficult brand of football to play in the likes of an Owenbeg or maybe even Sally Park. But Magherafelt are the best defensive team in Derry the last 2 years, in my opinion. They have great defenders and great athletes. So first half was difficult. The whole game was difficult, but the first half was really, really difficult, and it taken us took all our experience and know-how to probably go on at half-time winning.
Final point, Paul came in as manager.
Yep.
With limited experience as a manager. You played with him. How did he help mould you?
I think the first thing that when Paul got the job is the first thing that everybody knew is this is a man that has produced it for Slaughtneil when it matters. A man with serious courage when you were playing with him. Steel in his, or a steely ice running through his veins, and he's a serious football IQ, Paul Bradley, and he's a different manager in many ways, but the one thing he had this year, he had the players playing for him. He's strong-willed, he's strong-minded, and he'll speak his mind. And Padraig Kelly, another man, the respect we have for him. And then you obviously when you bring in the experience and the class of Gavin Devlin as coach, good things can happen, and good things happened this year.
Thanks for your time and congratulations.
Thanks, Mal.